Hi, and welcome to Created Borderline. Let's talk about it. Today, we're going to just go over some questions that I have been asked. And we're going to start with one I found that really just irks my tater, I guess you could say. Don't mind my vest in the background. Today, the question is, well, I'm just going to read it, cut to the chase. What are some examples of emotional struggles between a BPD mother and her child? And this was a core question I found, or that Hi, and welcome to Created Borderline. Let's talk about it. So, today I'm going to go answer a couple of questions. I really enjoy all the questions, and I think it answers questions for people that don't know how to ask them, I guess. So we're going to go back to that. Today's, well, as everybody knows, I'm advocate for mental health, mental illness, for suicide prevention. There's a lot to do with that in these questions and my responses, my answers. But most importantly, like, this is everybody needs to understand that this is my experience, and I know that the stigma behind borderline personality disorder, everybody wants to assume that we're all the same, we all react the same, we all have the same reaction, actions, and emotions, and that is not true. We are just like the majority. There's not one or two of us alike on the planet, and our life experiences are everything is different. So I'm only telling you from my point of view, from my perspective. So I do want to start off by saying this could be a trigger warning for some, and also I want to apologize in advance for anybody whom I'm upset, because I promise you that somebody will take offense, because that is the world that we live in. These are my experiences, and I'm telling you how I went through them, or have dealt with them, or going through them, or dealing with them, or what has happened to me. And on the behalf of any borderline that wants me to speak for them, because I am sure that although we're not alike, we do have similarities, and you either choose to get us and you want to get us, or you choose not to. Now, with that also being said, if you know you have borderline personality disorder, or somebody has pointed out that you may have something wrong with you, and you choose to ignore it, neglect it, and do nothing about it, and you choose not to work with the person or the loved one that is clearly cares about you, and that clearly cares about you and is trying to get you help and is willing to do the work with you, then that's on you. That is on you. That is on the borderline. That is on you. completely 100% your fault if your life stays in the way, in this the way, shape, and form it is in now. It is not anybody else's responsibility to take the blame for how you feel and what you go through, especially if you are not doing the work. You don't have an excuse anymore. If you've had a diagnosis and you choose to do nothing about it, there's no longer a reason for or an excuse. There's it's it. Now, granted, most people with borderline personality disorder, before diagnosing it, they have no idea they have it. They have no idea they're any different than the rest of the world. So it's a thin line there, but once you do have a diagnosis, it is your responsibility to get the help and do the work. All right, so question number 1. What are some examples of emotional struggles between a BPD mother and her child? So I'm not sure what my mother's mental illness is or her personality disorder is, but I'm pretty sure she may have borderline as well, or narcissistic, or I know that she has a personality disorder. I know that she has something wrong with her, and she has since I can remember. Well, not since I can remember, because I remember my mom a different way at a certain point in my life, but for a very long time. So, with that being said, I'm also a mother who has borderline personality disorder. So I have been on both sides of this. And my mother made my life could have been better. Well, my life could have not been shit. And that's the only word I have to use. If my mom would have sought treatment or gotten a right diagnosis or wouldn't have done the drugs she did, or so on and so forth. But all of my siblings have either had a mental illness, have a personality disorder, and I am the only one that's being treated. And the only reason I know that they have something wrong with them is because of all of the education that I have had and knowing them. My brother that's 13 months younger than me, I know that he has borderline personality disorder, and I have quiet, he does not. His is not quiet. I don't talk to my family anymore, as most of you know, so I can't tell you for sure, so don't want to be quoted on this because, as most of you know, I refuse to lie about anything, and at the end of the day, that's all I got is the truth, and one day it will set me free. No, I'm just kidding. My whole life, including my own mouth, has been based on lies, and for those of you who don't know, that's just not what I want anymore in my life. So he thinks God saved him and he's better now. That's not what I believe. So, but my beliefs and all that are not meant for this episode today of what we're talking about. So, the emotional struggles. I'm alone, and there is so many times I want my mommy moments, you know, like when we're sick, or I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 83-year-old on your last leg that can't remember your own name. There's certain times throughout your life you still have those I want my mommy moments, and I can't have those. I can't get those. And I never really got those. On occasion, she would be loving and empathetic, and she's still impulsive. She has addiction to shopping. She this and she that, and I remember, like, when my sister started her period. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, this is probably gross, but she was crying, and she was so upset. She was all of the things, and then I started, and it was nothing. Like, nothing. My sister, she had everything she needed. When I was at school. When I started, I was at school, wrapping a freaking shirt around my waist for the whole entire day. I get home, and there wasn't any, we didn't have any pads at home. So my sister, of course, anyway, long story short, here I am trying to shove this thing up my, you know, and why didn't she show me, why didn't she help me like she helped my sister? It's just stuff like that. I know that we all had all 12 of, or all 8 of us, the original 8, had our own, I mean, we all seen, and we all felt, you know, in our own way. And we don't give the next one enough credit because all we feel is our own pain. But, you know, this is the one part that I still cannot understand, because it's the one thing that nobody can deny. Every year since I can remember, well, every year since like I was 4, 5 maybe, my birthdays have been ruined. They were ruined by my mother and her husband at the time. Whether it was because they wouldn't come home and they would drink, or he wouldn't come home, or my sister would smoke cigarettes and blame it on me, or you know, my first real birthday that I can remember details, like real solid details, my brother wouldn't let me play his Super Nintendo, and I was so upset about it. I don't know why. I was an annoying little bratty sister. Like, come on, I get it, but it was my birthday. Like, okay. And then a lot, like, their birthdays, like, they gotta go out for dinner and have a meal, and, you know, we look forward to everybody's birthday except for mine. Like, okay, so I'm just trying to explain my mother, and I feel like I'm gonna get off topic if I keep going on about my family, because that's not what I'm trying to do today. But anyway, I have been a daughter of a woman who is still suffering from mental illness and all of the things and all of the things, she can't fix herself from. And the last thing that I have said to her is, you aren't getting the correct diagnosis. You aren't getting the correct diagnosis. And she didn't want to hear it. And I haven't heard from her since. So there's that. Then being the mother. My biggest regret in life is not knowing what was wrong with me. Pause. Okay. So as I was saying, I have been on both sides of the situation. A mother, or a daughter of a mother, and the mother with the diagnosis. I had thought about this several times, and I've had to, getting all the words that I want to use has been a little bit of a challenge for me. But I was going on with saying my biggest regret is not getting, being undiagnosed, not getting the right help. But none of that is my fault. So I've had to kind of reflect on that. Sometimes when you say the words, you say what you're wanting out loud. This is why I just believe so much in doing this. And that's, I haven't given up, even though there's times I've wanted to, and I don't always feel like I have adequate time, and so on and so forth. I just feel like when I say this stuff out loud, and I only get to go to therapy once or twice a week, so doing this is just an extra day, and it helps. Okay, so what I was saying is, when you say stuff out loud, you hear yourself say something, and you can find your own clarity in realizing wait, if you say something that doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound right for a reason, and you can pick it apart and find why it doesn't sound right, and dig deep into the point of it. So that's what I did when I realized I was saying my biggest regret in life is all these things that I had no control over, and so I needed to rethink of what my biggest regret is and what I could have done, or what I did. Now, yes, my biggest regret is ever having the possibility of the damage that I have done to my children be lifelong and affect them. And this is not my fault. Well, I mean, it could be. I don't say it's not, but if even though we pretty much established the trauma of my scientifically established the trauma in my life is what caused my BPD. I know that my mom has a mental illness. I discussed with you guys. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's a personality disorder. I'm not 100% positive, but the woman is mentally ill. And looking back, her mom has some issues. I love my grandma. We don't ever talk. I don't know her really. Honestly, I know what my mom has told me, but I don't despise a woman. I think she's hilarious. But she has some mental issues as well. And maybe it's something that runs deep on my mom's side. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with my grandpa. I think he was the best man I've ever known. Probably the only one that never disappointed me either, but we didn't have the greatest relationship with him because he was disappointed in my mother for her life that she chose to live. So, but the only good memories I really truly have with my sister are at my grandma and grandma's. So, those memories I'll cherish forever. But, anyway, if I pass down some mental illness gene to them, that would be my biggest regret. Or their fathers, because their fathers have some issues as well, and whether they would ever admit it or not, that's one thing, but I don't know how their disorder is genetically, or what I think their disorders are genetically, but that doesn't matter because I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose them, and I don't know for sure what they have. And so even if I was trying to research it, it would do me no good. It'd be useless because it could or could not be what they actually have. To the best of my knowledge, they have the same percentage chance to receive the disorder or hand down the disorder just as much as a person with BPD does. This gas station. So even if they do receive or have a personality disorder handed down to them because of the unfair genes of their parents, at least I have the knowledge to know the signs, and that's something I think you should make your children do, is get help if you know something's not right with them, and not allow the behavior to continue if you notice there's something wrong with the behavior. And in certain cases, which I'm not going to go in detail into this today because obviously I'm running out of time, if you're a mother and you feel like you have something wrong with you, and you feel like your child is experiencing the same thing, you don't just do nothing. So if there's anything that you could ever do for your children and you already feel like you failed as a parent, or you're not good enough as a parent, or whatever the case and circumstances may be, the best thing you could ever do for your child is get them help and do your part. They have to do the work just like any person. You can't do the work for your children, even though we wish we could. Some of us maybe, but they have to do the work. They have to be willing to do the work, put in the work, the time and the effort, and want to change. That is the big difference between a lot of these questions I'm asked about, which I will go into this too on a different day, of course, but I get a lot of questions like, why can't I this? Or I know borderlines that, I mean, they're just so stigmatized and way out of line sometimes, but there's one problem. Either you're borderline or you aren't doing the work. You are not trying to change. You're not trying to understand. The first thing you need to do is understand your disorder. Educate yourself on your disorder. You've got to do the steps. You've got to do the work, or you won't see change. So, with that being said, I am done for the day. I will try to get another video in soon because I am really liking these new questions and answers thing. I think it helps me, so I'm hoping it's helping y'all, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and comment down below. Don't forget I have createdborderline.org. I'm still waiting on members to join. It's a place for everybody to feel welcome, and with many volunteer opportunities and other organizations to get involved in. So check that out, and like I said, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and as always, feel free to comment below, or you can email me or reach me at one of my websites, as I will leave the information in the description below.